Hey guys, Miss Charlie here. Thanks for coming back to my channel. I appreciate you all so very much. Today we are doing another makeup collection video. This one is powders, and I do have quite a few powders. Some powders I use as contours and bronzers. If they're, if I don't like them all over my face, I'll use them as a contour or bronzer. But most of these I do use as just regular face powders or to touch up or whatnot. And then again, I have quite a few, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, so first I have the RCMA No Color Powder. I've had this for a long time. You can see how much is still left in here. My best friend gave me this. I don't think it worked for her. But I really enjoy it. You just need a little bit of this, because if you do swipe it on instead of pat it on, it can leave like little white trails on your face, which you can pat them out. But other than that, I would just pat it on, not swipe it on. But I really like it, and it comes in this big container, so you will have it forever. I've had this for a few years. And then the container, the top part is like a salt shaker, which is very, very messy. So what I do is I put this in a smaller container, and then so I can use it better. So I have some in a smaller container that I'm using right now, and then keep the rest in here. But this is the RCMA No Color Powder. And also, if you have deeper skin like me, just so you know, with some white powders, they can cause a cast. This one does not cause a cast. Neither do any of the other lighter powders that I will show here shortly, but this works good on any skin tone, just so you're aware. But again, this is the RCMA No Color Powder. This is the Lorac Pro Loose Setting Powder. I got this in a boxy charm. This color, I'm gonna open it over here so I don't get it everywhere, is in Chestnut. I'm using this currently in my June project pan. I use it as a face powder, and also to help set my under eyes, I mix the RCMA, because this is also in my project pan for June. Mix this with this on a sponge, and then I go in and set my under eyes or set my T-zone with this, and it works just fine. It's not ashy or anything on me. It looks like it's red to me. To you it might not look as red, but it doesn't look red on my skin, and it's very finely milled. It's very fine powder, very fine. It blends in just fine. It doesn't leave me cakey or anything like that. But I really like this powder, and this is the Lorac Pro Loose Setting Powder. Here's the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder, and this one is in dark. I got this at, open it over here, got this at the Dollar Tree. I thought this would be a great face powder, but it does have a sheen. It does have a luminosity to it, so this is not good for under eye. Nope, at all. I do take a little bit of this. I mix the Lorac with the RCMA on a brush, and then I dip this in and then swirl it around in the lid, and then I just go over my face with that, and it just adds a little bit of luminosity and glow to the skin. I would not put this on its own, because you would be very, very glowy and shiny, unless that's what you're looking for. But I mixed it in with my face powders just a little bit, and it just adds a little bit of glow. But it's a really nice powder. You can see it. It's very glowy right there. I don't know if you can tell, but I can tell it's adding a nice sheen. But this is the e.l.f. I'm gonna try to close it without spilling it. The e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. Next I have, excuse me. Next I have these powders from Black Radiance. You can get these at Walmart. My best friend gave me these because they were too dark for her, and she bought me a backup of the warm hazelnut. So she hasn't been opened, so she's waiting on the back burner. But these two, this one is the bronze glow, and then this one is the warm chestnut, and I use these as contour and bronzer. These are just pressed face powders. And they did have little, brushes in them. But yeah, so this is darker, so I use it as a contour, and then I use this one as a bronzer, and this one as a contour. And I'm doing pretty good pan on this one, working on this one. Very inexpensive, so you can use your pressed powders if you don't like them all over your face. You can use them for other things, so you repurpose them. So these are the ones from Black Radiance. And this is the Laura Geller Baked Balance and Brighten Foundation in Deep. This I use as a face powder. I've gone through 2 of these. This is the 3rd one. When it comes, it's domed. And you can see the dome is flattened. I love this powder. I need to get a backup. I get mine from QVC, which is, and it's a lot cheaper, but you swirl it around and it's a really nice light powder that I use as a face powder. Really nice. Laura Geller's been around for a long time. I got a small one of these in a BoxyCharm, used it up, and then I bought a backup. Went to QVC and I saw it on there, and I bought a backup there. Then I bought another backup, and then this is my 3rd, well, technically my 4th one, not, if you count the small one, that I've gone through in the last few years. So I love this powder. I will be getting a backup from it. I might go to QVC when I finish filming and see if anything's on sale. But this is a wonderful light face powder. The Beauty Bakery Flour Not Bitter powder, and this one is their setting powder in a boat. Got this in a BoxyCharm as well. It's a nice powder too, and I would mix this with a darker powder like I do for under eyes and all over, and it works just fine. It's not white, it is oud. It's more of an off-white yellow. It's not really yellow, it's more of an off-white color. So it's not, like the RCMA, it's not stark white. It's got some yellow in it, and it just disappeared on my skin. Didn't leave a cast at all. But yeah, I like this too. My friend told me about Beauty Bakery, and I just started getting into it. I have this by them, one of their palettes, and I have their beauty sponges. Their beauty sponges are absolutely amazing. I love their beauty sponges. They're so cute, and they come in a little egg carton. So cute. But this is the one from Beauty Bakery. These 2 from Wet n Wild. This powder, this is my 2nd one. I'm still working on this one. These are great powders for the price. They are not expensive. I think these are like $6.99, $5.99, $6.99. Very inexpensive. And you get a ton in here, a ton. It'll last you for a long time. And I'm still using this one up, and I just use this basically for mixing, again, to set my under eyes and my T-zone. This one is the translucent. It has a little bit of a pink tone, so if you have a cooler undertone to your skin, this would be good. If you have a warmer undertone, I don't know if that'll work for you. I have a neutral undertone, so this works great because it's got that pinky color to it. And then the deep is warm, but again, I mixed them together and they work just fine. They're very light, don't cake up. You don't need much just to set your makeup, because if you use light layers of your cream products, you don't need a lot of powder to set it, because that's when you get into the cakiness, is if you have too much foundation, too much concealer, too much cream products, and then your powder is just basically sitting on top of all of that, and it's not going to get mesh together to make it more skin-like. So always use light layers. But these are beautiful. I love them. I'm not gonna go through this one anytime soon because again, I've had this for at least a year, and it's gonna last me for another couple years. And this is my second one that I've gone through because I got this first, and then I found out they had a deep one, so I decided to try it. But yeah, this is my second one of this, and I don't hear people talking about the Wet n Wild powders, but they are very, very good. So go check those out at your local drugstore. The KVD Lock-It Powder Foundation. I use this as a powder as well and not for a foundation because it is a little too heavy. Have to use this very lightly because it can get very, very, very heavy really, really quick because it's supposed to be, it's a full cover powder foundation, and it comes with a little spongy and then a little cover. And this is in the color Tan Deep, and it's a good color for me. And like I said, I mix it with my lighter powders and I press this into my face. I don't swipe it because it is kind of heavy and you only need a little bit. I have another puff that I use, this little puff that comes with the L'Oreal powder. I use it because this one is a little flimsy, and I like the L'Oreal one because it is a little bit more stiff. So when I press it in, I press it into my skin really, really good, because if I swipe, it doesn't work for me if I swipe it on or use a brush. And then when I do my under eyes, I use a damp sponge, and then in my T-zone I use a damp sponge. But last time I tried it, it caked up around my nose really bad and on my chin, but I think it may be because I was using it in the winter and when it was cooler. I'm putting this in a project pan here next month for July, and I'm gonna try it during more humid, because it's humid where I am, and see if that doesn't keep it from caking. It'll maybe mesh into my skin a little bit more when my skin is more moist than it would if my skin was drier. So we're just gonna test it out and see how it works next month. But this is the KVD Lock-It Powder Foundation. This is the Milani Translucent Medium to Deep Powder. I got this at the Dollar Tree. This works just fine, and I bought backups. Yeah, I bought 2 backups. So I won't be needing this powder anytime soon. But I might put those in a giveaway later. We'll see, because this is gonna last me for a while. This is the first one. It's a nice thin powder. Again, I mix it with my other powders. It matches my skin. It doesn't leave it cakey. It doesn't make me oily, because some powders can, when your oils come through, and the oils come through and it just looks like your makeup is sitting on top of your face and your powders. This doesn't do that. None of the powders that I use do that except for the KVD, but I'm going to try that in a different season to see if it changes from cold weather to warm weather. So this is the one from Milani. This little e.l.f. powder, it doesn't say what kind of powder it is because I don't know why. I got this at the dollar store, and this one is in medium dark. It said it on the packaging, but of course, with e.l.f., these old packaging didn't have anything else on them but the name, and some of them didn't even have names. But this is a cute little powder that I can use. Matches my skin. It's nice and fine, and it was $1. This was before it became $1.25 tree, but it's a nice little powder. It'd be great for travel. You can throw this in with something else and be good to go. But It mattified my face. I've had no problems with any of these powders mattifying or anything like that. They make my skin look like skin. They're not too heavy. This is another one. It's not too heavy. Looks great. If you can find it at your Dollar Tree, pick it up. But I think they only have this color. I'm not sure. Check your Dollar Tree, see if they still have it. But once these type of things come in there, like e.l.f. and Maybelline and things like that, they tend to go pretty quickly because they are name brands. But just check your Dollar Tree and see. But this one is from e.l.f. The Essence All About Matte Fixing Powder. This is my second one. I did break it. The other one also broke because they're very, very fragile. This one I broke and repressed. This is a good powder to mix with powders like this, which is what I do. And I mix them. Does not leave a cast. This is a good powder for mattifying. So say you can just throw this in your bag and you're at work and you're, might be wanting to touch up your makeup. You can touch up with this by just pressing it in with a brush or a sponge, and it will, take that shine off really well. But I really like this, and this is affordable too. Essence, you can get this at most drugstores. I got this one, I believe, at my local Myers for like maybe $3.99, $4.99, something like that. Very inexpensive, and again, this is my second one. The Dermablend Loose Setting Powder. I love this stuff. This is my second one. I got a little travel size one in a BoxyCharm, so I kept it after I used it up, and then I just take some out of here and put it in here. Great for travel. It's a great setting powder. It is white. This is the first white powder that I used before the RCMA. It is white. Again, it does not leave a cast on me. It's not gray on my skin. None of these white powders are gray on my skin tone. And again, I mix them with the darker powders too to help. But I love the Dermablend. You get this, it'll last you for a long time. And I usually get them when they're at the 21 Days of Beauty for Ulta. They usually have the Dermablend powder. Again, this is my second large size. And then this one came in a BoxyCharm, so I just take this out of here and put it in here to make it a little bit more manageable. But the big one comes with this it comes with a poof, and I took it out. It's a really soft puff that comes on top of here, and I took that out because I didn't really need it. But yes, I love this powder, and again, it's great for all skin tones, deep skin tones, light skin tones, medium skin tones, all skin tones, and it doesn't leave a cast. So this is the one from Dermablend. This is the Be Pure Infused Pressed Face Powder. It says it's infused, but it doesn't say what it's infused with. It doesn't say at all. I got this at the Dollar Tree. There's a lot of Be Pure items at the Dollar Tree. And I decided to try it. It's a white powder. It worked just fine. It's a little bit of a cast, but that gets mixed. This one does have a little bit of a cast, but it's mixed in with a darker powder, so you can't tell. But if you want a lighter powder for, just mattifying or touching up, and then I'm almost at pan on this one, try this one from the Dollar Tree. See how it works for you. The Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Glow Fusion Powder. Got this in a what's it called? Buzz Agent, which is kind of like influencer, where they pick you to try out things. And I got chosen to try the Giorgio Armani powder. I use this as a contour. It is, you see it has a bit of a glow and a sheen to it. It's very soft. And again, I use this as a contour. You see it's got some sheen. It's got some sheen to it. But it's very nice if you want a little bit of a glow, and just a little bit of this is fine. And it comes with a little brush, and this brush is freaking soft. It is soft. I need a whole powder brush that feels like this, because brushes that come with powders are usually really stiff. This feels like silk, luminous silk. It feels like silk. This brush is gorgeous. So you could use it with this powder easily. The compact reminds me of the 70s, but it's very pretty. It's very nice. As you can see, I've used it quite a bit. It's almost got a dent in it, but I use this as a contour. And this is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Powder. The OG Laura Mercier. I've gone through so many of these, I couldn't even tell you. And I have a small one for travel. I love this powder. It's the OG. It's not white. It's like the Beauty Bakery one. It's like a oat color. It's got a bit of a yellow tinge to it, just a little bit like off-white. Perfect for any skin tone. Melts in. It's a fabulous powder. I love it. I think this is my third one of this size. I think third, and then I have a travel size too that I went through, and then I fill it up when I go traveling, because that's great size to use. But yes, the OG Laura Geller. Try it if you haven't. Get a travel size and try it, or go get a sample, because I think some Sephoras are doing samples again. So get your little sample of it. That's how I started with it, and that was many years ago. And this is always going to be a favorite. The e.l.f. Pressed Finish HD excuse me, HD powder. It's a white powder. This is my second one. I bought one, and when I got it home, it was broken. So I took it back and got another one, and I went through it, and this is my second one. I don't think this has it has a place for a poof. I don't know where the poof is, but this is like $6, I think, $5-6. And it's a white powder. Does not leave a cast. Great for mattifying if you want to, freshen up, or again, mix it with your darker powders for some extra mattification on your skin if you're oily or whatnot, to help that. But another great white powder. This is the Becca Hydro Mist Set and Refresh Powder. Remember when this came out, everybody was just like, wow, when you put it on, it feels cooling. I've used this ever since it came out, and it doesn't feel cooling to me at all, because I got a sample of it from Sephora, and I was like, I don't feel any cooling, but I like the powder. It's very finely milled. It works just great. I like the packaging, because when you open it, it's not going to spill out everywhere. It has a cap here to keep everything under wraps, and it has a mesh inside to help you, there's a mesh right there to help distribute, get the product out. But I store this on its side, so that's why there's so much there. But it's a very thin, very fine. It's very fine. And there goes my light again. It's a very fine powder. It doesn't sit on top of the skin. Let me turn this light back on. It doesn't sit on top of the skin. It blends, it meshes. When you put your base makeup on and you spray over everything with a facial spray or setting spray, it just melts. It's so fine and nice. And next we have this Full Spectrum Matte Ambition. This is a powder foundation from CoverGirl that I think they're discontinuing. I found this at my local Meijer's along with their foundation about a year or so ago. And it's most of the colors are for deeper skin, which I thought was great, because it was just a whole line of deeper skin colors, powders, foundations, concealers, things of that nature. But I went to my local Meijer's a couple weeks ago, and I think they're discontinuing them because they were all marked down This is a beautiful powder. The foundation is a beautiful foundation. I don't hear people talking about this range, and it looks like they made it for people with deeper skin tones, which I thought was great, but I don't hear people talking about it. This powder is very finely milled. I use it as a face powder and not a foundation. I hit pan and then I dropped it, so I had to repress it. It's a very fine powder. I really, excuse me, like this powder. It's very light. It gives me coverage. It did give me some coverage compared from here to here. It does give you some coverage as a foundation, but I use it as a finishing powder or setting powder. And this color is in tan golden. So if you have this or you see this in your area, excuse me, I'm so sorry, try it out because it is very, very good. But this one is from CoverGirl. This is their Matte Ambition Full Spectrum. Next we have the OOOG Airspun powder. This has been around for so many years. Our moms, grandmas use this, and that smell is just reminiscent of them doing their makeup. I love the smell. A lot of people don't. I say it's too strong. I love it because it reminds me of my mom doing her makeup and the powder, and she only wore powder and lipstick, and the powder she used smelled like Airspun. I think the powder she used was made by Coty, but you get a whole lot of this. I think this is like, depending on where you go, it can be like $5 to $6. If you go some places, it can go up to probably $8. As soon as it opens, that smell just takes me back to my mom putting on her powder and her lipstick. It smells like memories and nostalgia. And it comes with the puff, which I don't use. The powder is like a pinky powder, which is good for a lot of skin tones. It's great for setting. It does not leave a cast. It doesn't leave a cast. I love the smell. I love this powder, and it sets your makeup just so well. So if you want to use it inexpensive, you want something inexpensive from the drugstore that'll last you for a long time, get you some Airspun. And it comes in different ones. This one is the translucent extra coverage, and I think they have one that's just translucent. So, and I think now, if I'm remembering correctly, I think they might have a deeper one now. I'm not for sure, but I think they might. But this one works for me, and this is the old school Airspun powder. The Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. I can't use this as a foundation because it's too heavy, kind of like the Locket. I use this as just a touch-up face, just a face powder to set like my T-zone and whatnot. And you see I've hit pan. This has some really good coverage on it. That's why I don't want to use it all over my face. It has some nice coverage if you want to use this. And this is the little puff, like I said, I use for the Kat Von D because it's really stiff. And so you can take this and you can just press it in, not swipe it, press it into your skin to help coverage and to cover and not have it to be really cakey and heavy. But this color is in, where's the color? Un color. This is in, oh my God, why is this so small? This one is in hazelnut. You have all this in big letters, and then down here is the color. Come on now. You know, old people are, like me anyway, make the names bigger so some of us can read them. Even young people are like, where? I can't read that. So this one is in hazelnut. That's what I'm getting to. Okay, so lastly, I have this hard candy loose translucent powder. I got it from the Dollar Tree. It is a white powder with a little bit of a pink undertone to it. A little bit of a pink undertone to it. No cast. And again, $1. You can get hard candy at Walmart, but I'm not sure if this is sold there anymore. I'm sure they have newer stuff, but this worked as well. Again, mixed it with my other powders. It worked just fine. It was $1 before it became a $1.25 tree, and I really enjoy it. Okay, so this has been my face powders. Some are powder foundations that I use as setting and just face powders instead of using them all over the face as a, actual foundation. Have quite a few. Won't need any powders for a long time. I haven't bought any for a long time, but Giorgio, why are you upside down? I don't need any because I have plenty to last me for quite a while. I mean, if I get them in a boxy, I might try them or something like that, but haven't really bought any powders recently. But let me know if you've tried these powders, how they work for you. How do you use your powders? Do you use powder foundations as setting powders, or do you just use them as what they're intended for? But you can use your powders any way you want. You use your makeup any way you want, whichever best fits your needs. You don't have to stick to, oh, it's a powder foundation, I have to use it as that. No, you can use it any way you want, because some of these again are used as setting powders. Some of these are even used as contours and or bronzers. So use them how you want. Let me know if you've used any of these. Give me your thoughts, any recommendations if you have any. But I do thank you for coming by. Appreciate you all so very much. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.